Hi guys, welcome to our session once again. If this is your first time stopping by, kindly subscribe to this channel, share this video, and thank you so much for supporting us.
Welcome guys, we're actually very happy to do this video once again, and welcome to our channel.
Alright guys, so this video is actually our first 1 month in the US. I mean, first 1 month of relocating from Nigeria to the US. So guys, what are those things? What are the experience we've gotten so far? That's what we want to share with you guys in our today's session.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things to say. As you've heard, we are already in United States and we've had our first 1 month of experience. A lot of things that we are actually being stretched to, but we want to share with you so that we can tell you our story, which probably might help one or two persons out there who will also be going through our same journey.
Alright, so prior to arrival to the US, I've been hearing of culture shock, culture shock, culture shock. So I was asking myself, what is culture shock? Until I arrived to the US, that is when I actually had a first-hand experience. So I'm going to start with DIY. So before coming to the US, I've been hearing DIY. I do not understand what that means. But on arriving the US, guys, I had this experience firsthand. I mean, everything you get in the US comes in a carton. Starting from a bed frame, the drawers, like name it, everything unimaginable comes in a carton, like in pieces. So it simply means that once this thing arrives, you have to do it yourself. I mean, you have to fix them. I mean, starting from the bed frame, you have to fix from the very first, everything, like every single thing to make a bed frame, you have to be the one to fix it.
Yeah, I can actually remember how we did not have some of the tools we needed. We also did not know which of the tool to even use. Thankfully we had a friend who lived very close to us that we actually had to run to and get those tools to be able to help us assemble those furnitures. Actually, it's very difficult coming from Nigeria, whereby if you want to get a furniture or a bed frame, you only go to the shop and everything is being set for you, and all what you need to do is to transport it back to your home. But in America, everything is in pieces. You actually have to go back to your school when you need to do intro tech, things like that, and you'll be able to remember how to fix things. So it was a strange, entirely a strange
that was our
thing
number
for us.
one culture shock.
Our number one culture shock. We were actually very excited that our bed frame was coming, and all we were like, okay, we just pick them, put it, and sleep. And we saw a very huge carton. I was like, how are we gonna fix this thing? So, but the manual was there, and you actually have to read the manual and start fixing.
So you follow it step by step. Guys, let me shock you. The last thing as a mattress came in a carton.
I can remember the experience of the mattress because the mattress is folded, like it's compressed
inside
a carton, and I was like, how is this a mattress? Because the Nigerian experience is that if you want to buy a mattress, all you need to do, go to the shop and
put it on top of your
car or any vehicle, and you just drive them and you put them in your room. But here in America, your mattress is coming in a carton. And you actually have to unwrap it and boom.
That first experience.
So that was our experience. It was totally a different culture shock for us. Like, I was like, what?
What the heck? Yeah, so that was our number one culture shock. So the next culture shock we had is
greetings. Oh my god. If you're coming from Africa, or probably for us Nigeria to be very specific, You know that as the moment you actually step out of your door, you have your neighbor, or even if you are living in an estate or whatsoever pattern of house you live, you know you will actually be greeting people in your street. You know, in fact, people know you. You don't even need to wait to greet the other person. Everybody's telling you, "How you there,
Boss."
boss?" You know, things like that. But here, when the moment we came in, you know, the very first morning I opened the door and I saw a neighbor who is actually living close to us. I was like, "Good morning, sir." The man was like this, "Good morning, sir." Man, like he actually walked past me. And then we started asking questions. What is wrong?
Problem?
Is it a problem? People don't greet people. In fact, even somebody who sees you, or probably your neighbor sees you in the morning. In fact, the person is throwing the first some other place, or if the person sees that you're actually walking close to him, he start increasing his pace. He does not want to talk to you. So it was like, what is going on?
And not like you have any problem or they have any problem.
They don't have any problem with you.
It's just a mind your business
mind
kind
your
of
business
environment.
So we started asking questions like everybody is on their own.
Yeah.
You know, people don't want to have any interaction with anyone, and in fact, most persons are actually very busy.
Yeah.
So imagine you want to greet your neighbor is already running to his car and close the door of the car. You can't even interact with anyone here. The only way you can actually have that ties with people is when you go to communities like your church, you know, that's where, or your workplace. Even the workplace could be actually very difficult. Nobody.
Yeah, because everybody is very busy.
So the only place we started having interaction with people, when people welcome us, was when we went to Christian meetings, you know. So that's the only way. Apart from that, you could actually stay here in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You don't even see your neighbor, and even when you see your neighbor, the person is running into his house. So nobody has any time for you.
No wonder people always say abroad is very lonely, you know, because even your neighbor does not have the time to interact with you. Everybody is so busy and they are minding their business.
Everybody's minding their business.
So that was our second culture shock. And then our third shock is the food.
Yeah, food.
Yeah. So coming already before we came down to the US, we at least, let me say, we thought about it and then we came with a whole lot of food stuff. Anyways, our Nigerian food stuff, everything you can think of. All the leaves you can think of.
All the leaves.
Like everything, we tried our best to ensure that we came prepared, right?
Gari, fufu, you know.
So that takes me to that takes us to, you know, when we exhausted the first set that we came in. Let me use Semo for instance. So we actually thought we were going to be able to get that in the normal stores here, but no. I mean, those people do not understand what you mean by Semo, except you have to go to the African stores, you know, where they are selling African food, or you know someone that sells African food. That's where you can get stores like our Semo. So I think we went to one of the stores here and then we got something.
Is it corn? Something
corn something.
Corn, and you think it's Semo, and when you put it in the pot, it was something else.
It was totally different. Like it wasn't.
And I said we have to finish that thing. So,
we actually had.
It was more like, is it $8 or $10? And how will you throw away $10? That's like almost
a huge amount
of money when you convert
just throw away.
So we actually have to force ourselves to eat it.
Yeah.
So if you're coming into this country from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, or which part of Africa you're coming in, and you're an African, please
enjoy your African food.
Bring your African food, and also make sure that you know the kind of African food that the border control will accept you to bring, you know, to bring into the country. There are some certain things you can't bring in. So start asking questions. It's not going to be on this video. We'll start giving you all this information, but we are just sharing our experience with you. So that's the aspect of food.
Alright guys, so the next experience we want to talk about is the housing pattern.
So coming to America, looking at the way they build their house is actually very different.
Totally different.
Totally different. When they opened the door, I was like, why is the kitchen in the sitting room?
Just by the sitting room.
Just by the sitting room.
Yeah. So unlike what we have in our region, where a kitchen could be, maybe you have a kitchen, the dining, before you now move
a
to
different
the
room.
Yeah, different room. So here in the US, in this particular location that we are, the kitchen is just, you have the kitchen and then you have the sitting room.
Yeah.
So no demarcation, nothing. Like it's joined together. It's just a little demarcation, but you can just stay in or while cooking in the kitchen, everything can pass through the sitting room. And then in our region, before we came down here, when we have kitchen, you always have like a window that lets everything you're cooking out. But that is not so here. We have the windows in the sitting room. So whenever you're cooking, it passes through the sitting room before it gets outside. So that was another shock that we had when we came in here.
So and you actually have to battle with smoke alarm.
That was an experience.
So people in this other Western world, especially we Africans, we cook a lot. So mostly our food will always have smoke. So they have smoke alarm. So every time we cook, we will always be hearing our smoke alarm going,
and it can be crazy because
it could be very loud.
Very loud.
The first time I was like, I hope police is not going to come. So we're like, oh God, I hope police is not going to come.
And this is not something we've experienced ever before. That was our very first time anyways. So I was actually cooking and then the smoke alarm popped.
Is there any time you're cooking then smoke alarm is not?
No, I mean the first experience that we had. So the smoke alarm, actually popped out. Like if you see the way we were running.
Honestly, I was like, oh God.
What's happening?
God, I'm just how many hours in America. Police should not come and arrest us. So when you're coming to America, you want to live in America, one of your culture shock you get is that if you are cooking
and then there is any smoke,
and one of those things we do is that like 2-3 things we do. We increase the temperature in the house, making the house to be more cooler.
Chilly.
Then we open the windows. Sometimes we open the doors, you know, so that more air will come in. And also, if you have a vent, how do you call it? The microwave.
Yeah,
so
you can put on the vent.
Put on the vents so that it helps you with the smoke. So air the room, open your windows, open your doors, especially for Africans that cook. So I asked, why do the Americans or the Western culture have a kitchen in the sitting room? Is that they don't really
cook much. They don't cook much.
They don't cook like we Africans.
They do the burger, they do fries, they do fast food.
They do fast food.
But we cook. We Africans, we like African made, homemade food.
So we cook a lot.
African food,
So they don't really cook a lot. And they what they cook could be just boiled water for coffee and things like that. So we do a whole bunch of cooking. So if you're coming in here, prepare for you to be always fighting with your smoke alarm. There is no single day my wife cook or any of us cook that we don't need.
You not run helter-skelter to get all the smoke alarm.
Find a very long stick that you'll be.
Especially if you're not tall.
So find a long stick that you'll be actually have to press to off your smoke alarm. So that's our experience.
Yeah, the next thing we want to talk about is driving.
So for us that we had a car in Nigeria, it's forget what you used to drive in Nigeria.
You're driving what I don't know.
So forget what you used to drive in Nigeria. No matter how good you are, when you come in here, you actually need to learn how they drive here.
Yeah, because their road network is totally different from what we have. the way you understand traffic lights in Nigeria, for instance, if we're using Nigeria, it's totally different here. Yeah. Prior to arrival here, I did not know anything about right of way.
So you actually will need to learn how to drive again. Maybe it's not, when we say learn how to drive, it's not accelerating and also slowing down your car with your brakes. That is not what we are trying to talk about. But we're talking about driving rules, and driving rules are actually, or driving laws, actually very strict here.
Yeah.
If you violate a traffic rule, I'm sorry for you. I think one of those culture shock was the law says that when a school bus stops and put out a
stop sign,
all the cars coming behind the school bus and all the cars coming in front of the school bus will actually have to stop until the children crosses the road and also the school bus start moving. That is when you actually drive. You cannot drive and pass a school bus if you dare.
You get some points, not just the points.
If you dare, I'm sorry for
your license go here.
Your license, in fact, there are even serious penalties. Some persons go to jail for that. So it was a total culture shock for us. And also, one of the things about driving here is that you actually will need to pay attention to the pedestrian, the people on the road, or people who want to cross. In fact, the law says that the pedestrian have the rights more than you who is actually in the car. I could remember one of the experience when I was driving. Then I saw a dog that was about to cross. I was on the other hand side of the road, so a little dog was about to cross the road. Do you know that like almost 10 to 15 cars actually stopped?
You have to. You don't have
for a dog to actually cross the road. And this small dog did not even cross the road. He actually crossed and stood in the middle and started eating something on the road.
No choice.
And everybody was just waiting. I was like, man, if this dog was in Nigeria,
we have chopped
if that dog was in Nigeria, I don't know. So let's not talk about it because they're valid dogs here. So that was our culture shock with driving.
Yeah.
Strict traffic rules. You must actually, if you're coming here, make sure that you have your license. Just make sure you're prepared to study their traffic rules and be able to transition yourself with driving. So those are the key things.
And then another thing with regards to driving is the use of GPS.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Almost everybody.
The savior. Most persons have been in this country for so long in time, but then they still marry GPS like everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So if you are coming in, you need your GPS because that is going to be your savior. That's going to lead you to wherever you're going to.
Yeah. So many persons will have Google Map on their phone and they've never used it. So if you know you're coming
prior to arrival,
if you know that you're coming to America, start learning how to use Google Map or any map on your phone because you are gonna need it. You're gonna need it here.
Sure. So the next thing we want to talk about is the cell phone and SIM card or package, whatever you're going to call it.
It's confusing.
So it's quite confusing because back then in Nigeria, you could just walk into a shop and tell them I want to buy MTN, Airtel, or whichever SIM you are interested in. But it is not so here. It is actually not so here. Like culture shock. It's real. So when we got here, they have prepaid package and the postpaid. And for you to qualify for the postpaid, you need to get some documents. So if you do not have those documents, you could go with a prepaid package. So it's not like what we have over there where you just walk into a shop, get a SIM card, and you put in your phone and off you go. Here, they need to activate whatever package or plan that you're paying for. And you still need to have some basic documents that's
your social security number or state ID, things like that. And for us as immigrants, it's our social security number did not come immediately.
It
came like after a few weeks. So I just got my my phone, a US phone number, so you actually have to prepare for all of these things. And if you're coming to America, please come legally. Come legally. Don't come with visiting visa to come and work. It will not. If they hold you, Trump, Uncle Trump.
So about my own experience with regards to work, with regards to documentation. So when you come in, prior to arrival, I was thinking that once we arrive, I'll start working. But girl, it's not so. You still have a lot of documentation to do when you arrive here. You need your background check. You need a lot more. So while you're still at that, you also need funds. Trust me, every single day you're spending, every single day you have bills to pay. So if you're coming in as a nurse like myself, make sure you come with a lot of money and make sure you come prepared, because while you're waiting to sort yourself, you will need to also sort your bills, right? So thank you so much for watching. Do you want to add any other thing?
Well, in talking about the phones and rings, when in Nigeria specifically, many of us pay rings yearly, but here you need to pay your rents monthly, and if you don't come with a lot of funds, you'll be stranded. So we have our own challenges. So guys, thank you very much
for watching. See you in our next session.
Bye-bye.
Bye.